All right, welcome to October FFL Consultants Ask Us Anything. We got some really good information for you today. Go ahead and skip our on by. This is a 1 minute warning, but let's just go right past that. And hey, yeah, happy you are here with us. Again, you celebrate with us each month when we get this going. Anybody new, brand new? This is our business card, I guess. We'll show this again at the end during the Ask Us Anything session. So JC's direct text number and cell number, my direct text and cell number right there on the screen, our main number in the middle. Get us anytime with our info@fflconsultants.com email address. Anytime you have a question, you can either call, text, or email us. I will warn you that we don't watch email all day. We're usually with FFLs or doing training sessions or auditing or traveling. So text and calls is our preference. Quick answers, real-time answers when you need them. Real answers fast, we used to say. And no question is a stupid question. And we love your questions. That's how we learn along with you learning. So what are we going to talk about today? From basic stuff, but a couple legal updates for any of you who have been calling us about the NFA, so suppressor implementation, getting started, all that fun stuff. We're going to bring it all together today. You know, on the last few months, we've been presenting segments of how to get started in the suppressor NFA business. Today, we'll just wrap it up for you. The ATF update is going to really focus just on what's happening with IOIs, the CR, continuing resolution, and the budgets, what we do and what we don't know. We got some great true and false today. We're going to play a little bit different. We're going to give you some trick questions in there, a little bit on compliance corner, and ask us anything, rapid fire questions. Again, if any of you are new, simply put your questions either now or throughout the presentation in the chat box right at the bottom of your screen in the Zoom bar. Hit chat, type your question in there. We will get to those at the end during our rapid fire FAQ session, and we'll answer hopefully all of those for you. So here we go, JC. We're going to get some legal updates. And we still got people coming in, but again, this is being recorded and you can catch it anytime towards the end of the week and then out on YouTube. We'll send you the link. First thing we're going to talk about, and we talk about these different state laws because at any given time, even though you may not be resident or licensed in the states that we discuss, residents and homeowners from these states may be traveling in an area near you or buying a gun online from you through one of the online platforms. But actually, we got some good news to start with. We love starting with good news, of course. Over in Delaware, HB 451, in a recent court settlement or decision on August 29th of 2025, just over a month ago, in Bernie versus RLG Delaware Department, the provision prior had been that all firearms had to be sold to individuals 21 years of age and older. Several states, including our unfortunate state of Colorado, has a 21 and over only, as is Florida and some other states, 21 and over to purchase a firearm. Anyway, over in Delaware, they actually voted it down and they declared that it violated the state constitution. The Superior Court decided over in Delaware that the law was unconstitutional for 18 to 21. They cannot do anything with the handgun rule because of the federal mandate on 21 and over being for handguns only as per the Gun Control Act. But anyway, the good news is it's a legal right for 18 to 20-year-olds to purchase a rifle from Delaware FFL as of now, as of August 29th. Unfortunately, as it would go, there is no clear official state document or regulation disseminating this to FFLs or making it known to the common public. Go figure. So I sent some emails. I couldn't get anybody over there this past week in preparation for today. Have not had any answered emails except to the same conclusion that since they, meaning the Department of Safety and Homeland Security, which oversees firearm regulations in Delaware, they simply said they wouldn't, and since they oversee it, they were not involved in drafting the legislation and did not take any position on it. And therefore, They're waiting for somebody else to publicize it or give mandate to make it public that anyone under 21, 18 to 21 can buy a long gun in Delaware. Plain and simple, that's it. Online, all good. In person, all good. No other restrictions. And the statute is published in the state repository. I mean, that's out there, but there's no formal statement to the public about this being illegal now. All right, so the bad news. Let's talk about some bad news. The same thing, Delaware, with good comes to bad. We started talking a couple of years ago about the Handgun Qualified Purchaser Permit, the HQPP, really weird weird acronym for permit, but that's what it is. And try to say that 5 times fast. It's not too easy. But this is going into effect as far as we know because there's been no legislation against it. And usually something like this there's lawsuits filed after enactment, meaning after there's folks who are injured by the new law in some way. Doesn't mean injury, medical, physical, health. Could be injury, could be commerce, could be financial, could be many ways. But usually someone has to have standing, meaning they have to be subject to or a victim of the new law. And what's going to happen is this new law goes into effect, as far as we know, on November 16th. We've been getting a lot of calls about this week because no one's talking about it. It was enacted, it was passed almost 18 months ago, and the stipulation was that it would take effect, as many of these firearm rules do, at a given time following the signing of the bill by the governor. Well, that 18 months is up. We were talking about this 2 years ago. We knew it passed, and here comes on or about November 16th, this is going to happen. Very sadly, the law is going to require a permit to purchase be obtained by any individual in the state, any resident of the state of Delaware that wants to buy a handgun. Okay. Now, to get this, when the law takes effect, a person who's not otherwise exempt cannot purchase a handgun without one of these. Many states already have such a program in place, so this is not brand new. It's really kind of a copy and paste type of thing. But basically, it's going to be for handguns in Delaware. It must be 21 and older. Here's the big one: you must have must pass a firearms training course that includes a live fire shooting exercise with a minimum of 100 rounds of ammunition. That's all we know right now. We don't know how many times you have to hit the target. We don't know what exactly this live fire program is going to require. I'm sure there'll be a certificate of completion at the end that you'll have to present, obviously, to the state to get your permit. Background check investigation needs to be completed. This is the background check before the background check scenario. So they want to give you a permit with a background check and fingerprints before they say you can go get a gun and have another background check. And yes, everything's going to cost money. We don't know exactly how much it is yet because a lot of this has not been clarified as far as cost and timing. But once issued, this HQPP will be valid for 180 days, which means buy as many handguns in 180 days as possible, because in 6 months, you're going to have to do it all over again. That is our understanding. As far as gun dealers go, there are some exemptions, obviously, the standard exemptions. Law enforcement officers, anyone with a concealed carry permit, they call it a concealed deadly weapons license in Delaware. And anyone who has taken and has certification for a Delaware Hunter Safety Certification Card. That's either an 8 or 16-hour course you take to get your hunting license and permit. So this is all forthcoming. Just give me a heads up. And here's the important part, FFL dealers, you are required to make sure you're a customer who's attempting to purchase a firearm that is not exempt to have a HQPP present to you. And that's all we know. And there's no other instruction as of yet as to what to do with that permit. But as we do in other states, because other states also fail to dictate what to do with the permit other than validate it or verify the customer is holding one that's unexpired. We recommend that you put the information in box 32, which is your notes box, miscellaneous notes box. In some cases, we've seen FFLs use box 20, area 29. without checking the box in 29. 29 is where you list the exemption if your state allows for it to bypass a background check with a CHL or an LTC. But in this case, using those spaces may or may not be what you want to do, but definitely keep that information someplace to prove you checked for a permit before you transfer the handgun after November 16th. That is our recommendation. We are not attorneys. We are just your quasi accountants here on a webinar telling you or sharing best practices and what we have been doing and have been seeing in other states to keep FFLs compliant. All right. Again, if you got any questions, put them in that chat box down there. JC's keeping track. We're going to get to those at the end. So we have updated our exclusive restricted states guide. You see that right here. We did include that in the links to you. So here's what I'm going to tell you. It was updated yesterday again with some details. So if you received I guess the early morning today invite to this webinar, the link in there brings you to the most recent version. It's October 12th, not October 10th, October 12th. You see it at the bottom of the sheet here. In the bottom right corner is always the revision date. So go ahead and grab that off that link we sent you. We'll also include it in the replay that we send out to you at the end of this week. So that's it on Delaware. Delaware is the big discussion this week as far as what you need to know going forward. There's lots of bills and things we are watching, proposals and different things in the different states. So we don't waste time on a lot of those maybes. We usually just talk about the definites, to-dos, what's happening and what's legally required by you. Over in New Mexico, we do need to let you know that the 7/20 day hold is reinstated. That occurred in September sometime. So what happened was the state of New Mexico basically filed an appeal to the argument or decision that came up during the summer. I think it was July that said the 7-day automatic delay on a proceed from a background check was mandatory. The courts or the 3-judge panel agreed with the plaintiff that said it's unconstitutional to impose a 7-day automatic delay on a proceed from a background check through our current process. But because the appeal was filed, they were able to get the 7-day temporarily back in place, which means you still have to do it or you have to do it again. So even if you get a proceed on a background check and you're from New Mexico or in New Mexico, those folks, these people travel too. So if they're buying a gun in Colorado or Kansas, you've got to hold that firearm for 7 days or up to 20 if delayed and not proceeded. After 20, you can transfer it, not 3 days like the Brady date says, it's 20. Very, very, it's the worst one. It's the worst really one in the country, I believe. So aside from never getting a gun on a delay, which are some states. So just know that those two are updated for this month. Back on our guide, the details all included on the detail pages for the states. And again, you can get it. You can also download it. JC was able to upload that today to our website, fflconsultants.com. Click on Tools and Resources. At the top, there's a tab that says Tools and Resources, and you'll find it up there. You can download it for your staff. All right. JC, let's get into a little compliance here. You want to talk about Franklin Armory?
Sure, and you guys can get this out on the web, ATF Open Letter Library. This is with regard to the Reformation and Antithesis, and it's very specific to these two current models. Originally, the ATF had designated these as, what was it, JB? Was it AOWs, or what did they originally push these out as?
They pushed them out as NFA short barrel rifles.
Short barrel rifles?
Yeah.
And Franklin Armory challenged that in court, and they won. And now the ATF designates these firearms as just a firearm, depending on what solution you are using as far as electronic solutions are concerned. Just know that it's either firearm or other is also acceptable from the ATF standpoint. The reason for this is because of essentially the barrel. It did not meet the definitions of either rifle or shotgun. And as such, it is just a firearm because of the barrel and its acceptance of both a 45 long Colt and 410 gauge shotgun shells. So, that being said, if you come across these, whether they're being transferred in to you from online transactions or pawnbrokers, just know that it's very specific to these two models of this firearm, and ATF has expressly advised that if Franklin Armory makes any changes to these, that this open letter may not apply dependent upon those changes. So we haven't seen many of these. I think I've seen one in maybe the last couple months. So they may become popular as an alternative. I'm not sure, but keep an eye out for them and make sure that you really, if you are going to deal in these, you should have that open letter on file because we don't know whether or not the IOIs are going to be well educated. They may look at it at first glance and go, whoa, 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 what is this? And may need to be educated themselves. So just be aware of that.
Yeah, and from our experience, and you guys know, JC often talks about the secret code of IOI enforcement. I guarantee you, they're going to walk in and tell you these are SBRs or SBSs. Primary reason is they have a shoulder stock on them and short barrels, and they're very confusing unless you look down that barrel with a flashlight. Make sure it's not a smooth bore, and make sure it's not a rifle barrel. It's what they call the band barrel, I think it is, but it's very, very strange. The name of this is groove barrel. It's a grooved barrel. So good luck with that. I have not seen one, JC. You saw one. You're lucky. More lucky than they look cool. I mean, they are cool guns. They're $1,100 online, and they are selling. So just be aware if they come through your store or if they come through your pawnbroker. Make sure it's not one of the NFA Franklin Armory firearms. Okay, cool. All right, JC, I heard the government shut down. Do you know anything about that?
Government shut down? What? No, stop it. Um, yes, we know about the government shutdown. Just understand that many of the functions of ATF are still considered essential. That being said, if you're susceptible to inspection, you will be inspected. They are not slowing down on inspections. Where you're going to see the government shutdown impact your business operations is both the NFA division, licensing division, etc. Those areas of the ATF's business operations are on skeleton crews and are only doing essential business. As far as licensing concerned, if you are up for renewal, you will just have to hang tight. Right now, the plan is if the government shutdown continues, your FFLs will be extended for 45 days. That's the word I'm getting thus far. We're keeping very close eye on that. As far as NFA is concerned, Form 4s are not being processed. Form 5s, government, military, law enforcement, those ones are being processed. So that's kind of where things stand right now. Just so you're aware, what's been put forward is just a continuing resolution. It is not a full budget, meaning that they want an extra month or so to extend the current budgets until they come up with a true future budget for the next fiscal year, which has already started. It remains to be seen what's going to happen as far as ATF budget cuts are concerned, but the CR will not impact any budget cuts or anything like that. There's a reason why they call it a continuing resolution. So, as far as the ATF merger, there's very little talk about it right now. We think it's pretty much faded into the distance and doubt it will happen. Whether or not leadership and the executive branch will cut 500 IOIs has been referenced and rumored. We don't know. We don't know what that's going to look like right now. The CR is only like 24 pages. I think I heard that number touted quite a bit. So nothing, you know, in the near future with this. We know there's been talk about it, but it's all been rumors so far. So we're just kind of waiting and seeing what's going to happen. But for now, just be aware things are slowing down a little bit.
Yeah, it's amazing how much rhetoric we had out there from influencers thinking they knew everything and interpreting things or misinterpreting things. So a lot of misinformation, but stay to path, keep the pedal to the metal on compliance. And, sadly, I mean, even we were bumping into a bunch of IOIs out there, training events in August and September. They were all worried about layoffs and what they were going to do next. And guess what? Nothing's happening. So, as we know with this administration, great things happen and great things can change on a dime. So, just stay tuned, I guess. All right. And if we hear anything, obviously, we'll push a note out to you guys and let you know. JC, let's bring this NFA sales cycle home. Okay, we've been talking month after month, I think since August. Can you give us a recap of
Yeah,
what's going on for January?
absolutely. So, the elimination of the $200 NFA tax is going into effect January 1st, 2026. What we have noticed at a lot of FFL Class 3 and Class 2 dealers is they are either absorbing the $200 tax today or doing some sort of offset for that $200 tax leading into January 1. You know, basically it brings the current federal tax down to $0 for all NFA firearms except for machine guns. Those will still have a $200 tax. So that's suppressors, SPRs, SPSs, and AOWs. Basically, if you're not an NFA dealer and you would like to get into that world, give us a call. We'll be happy to help with that. You're going into November now, so you know the $500 that you have to pay to be a dealer to get that SOT, is only good for 1 year and you have to renew it annually. So it's good until June 30th of the next year every year. So, I would tell you that if you are going to get into the business, you should be prepared to put forward a few dollars in capital in order to get into the business because you're going to want to be electronic. You are not going to want to be paper, as paper is very intensive. It's only about 3% of all firearm transactions as it relates to NFA. So, in the big scheme of things, your competition, almost all of your competition has gone electronic. And there's a few different solutions out there. They're all pretty much, you know, they all pretty much use the same type of software. They all pretty much affect the process the same way. Obviously, the turnaround time on electronic is much quicker. So, some of the things we're recommending: incentivizing the sales, layaways. You know, like I said earlier, a bunch of FFLs are just eating the $200 tax, or the manufacturer's eating the tax, or whatever the case may be. But an alternative to this is layaways. Again, if you want to get into the business, it requires you to put forward a few $100s to get the proper licensing, and then again, you'll want to go electronic if you do decide to go into this world, just because of the simple fact that it's going to be a much smoother, quicker process for you. Selling suppressors, you'll again apply for and receive your SOT. It takes about 30 days, and right now, probably a little longer than that due to the government shutdown. Once you get your SOT, then you're going to register for an eForms account. which is a pretty straightforward process. It's like 3 steps to actually get that eForms account fully established. And then step 3, JB, you're going to have to look at suppliers. Now, many of the distributors do offer suppressors now, or silencers, whatever the case may be. So you'll need to establish your relationships and provide them with your SOT, etc., so they can verify everything. Moving on, JB.
Yeah, on the supplier, we've heard from so many of you already, unfortunately, that they're already out of stock, ordered up through February, March of next year. That doesn't mean you shouldn't do this. I mean, so many of you, we know so many of you have called us. JC's our licensing guy. He's helped you get all this set up. I'm not that guy. JC's the NFA guy. So, but hey, you're there. I mean, I'm guessing 30 to 50 of you have worked through us over the last couple of months. Congratulations. A lot of pawnbrokers on this call. I mean, you've been calling, understanding what you can and can't do with an SOT, how you can sell and buy, but can't pawn. Remember that. So anyway, this whole thing is a big issue. And if you don't think it is, come January, you're going to be calling us and saying, what did you guys say? So hopefully get all that cleared up and get your orders in. Again, don't wait. Get your orders in, and even if they're back ordered into March or April of next year, you still got to get in the queue. Okay.
Yep. And then once you get everything registered, get your basic inventory, and we're warning folks, don't get too crazy deep on the inventory that you maintain on hand. You know, what's the word I'm looking for? The replenishment on these from your distributors is pretty quick. Manufacturers are not ramping up operations. They are moving as fast as they can. And until they really get an idea of what they're looking at as far as demand, they're going to keep everything pretty much status quo. So, again, don't go too deep. I mean, replenishment is pretty good on these things. So, just keep a good stock on hand just for people to touch and feel, etc. You will have to maintain a filing system for your NFA inventory, in particular, whatever you have in stock. You'll put your Form 3s, Form 4s, however you received that suppressor or silencer. You'll have to keep those in a separate folder, and you'll maintain those in chronological order. And then you also want to prepare to segregate inventory. You want to make sure that you keep what is in process versus what is in inventory separate. We have a whole recommended kind of system that we push forward and advise you to follow. And that's when you receive a suppressor in, or any NFA firearm for that matter, we tell you make a copy of the Form 3, Form 4, however you received it, put it in the box with the device so you always have a backup copy. When you do process a Form 4 to sell one, we recommend that you take that Form 4, a photocopy of it, a print off, whatever the case may be, and just wrap it around the device with a rubber band so you know that silencer or that NFA firearm is in process. It just helps everybody understand what's what and keeps you from making the mistake of attempting to transfer an item twice to two different people. So, and then the sale of suppressors, the initial sale, you take in the money, you fill out the Form 4, you process it, you hold on to it. Once that Form 4 has been approved, then you'll do a 4473. No background check is required for that. So for the most part, it's pretty cut and dry. Box 28, sorry, on the current 4473 is what you will check to bypass that background check. It's not a very difficult process, a little bit tedious, maybe take an hour of your time to process a transaction. Some people have it down pat that are selling a lot more, down to about 20 to 30 minutes, but it does take a little time, and you will be sitting on that suppressor for a little while, even though they purchased it or paid for it, until you get that approved Form 4 for the transfer. It stays locked up with you until that 4473 is done and all the paperwork is completed.
And then, oh, well, back on the Form 4s, and JC, we talked about it, I think, last month and a month before. If I'm selling a suppressor, and we say suppressors, but it could be an SBR, SBS. There's a lot of new short power shotguns coming out with this whole new reduction in tax cost, tax fee. So there's a lot of cool things happening come January, but same process applies. But with that Form 4, if it's transferred to an individual through the e-forms process. It's still pretty quick, JC.
It is still pretty quick. Let me just see ATF processing times. I want to say that it's up to about 20 days now. But some of this is being impacted. Form 4 Trust Electronic is currently 23 days. We anticipate that number to go up for a little bit just because of what's going on with the government shutdown. Form 4 individuals are taking about 10 days. So this was down a little bit last month. It was six days for Form 4 individual transfers through eForms and 9 days Form 4 trust transfers. So, and they do anticipate an uptick. I met with ATF leadership a few weeks ago back in DC, and I will tell you they anticipate 100% lift in Form 4's e-forms and a 300% lift in Form 4's paper, which take into account 300% lift for paper. It's only about 3% of the total transfer requests that come through. So 300% is not that big. It sounds big, but it's not.
Yep.
So you're looking at probably anywhere from 20 days to about 40 or 50 days for electronic individual and trust Form 4s
Yep.
going
And
into January.
yeah, yeah.
And then that'll taper off. It's the newness, right? So,
And then step 7, there's a report out there for all of you who don't know. And even if you are selling it today, you should know that there's the
yeah.
NFRTR, JC. What's that
Yep.
acronym?
Yeah, you have access to your National Firearms Registry and Transfer Record. That is available through your eForms account. Um, It's actually under your profile tab, and it'll have a button to the right of your FFL. You'll see your FFL listed on the page, and you'll see a button that says View Inventory. And that'll give you your inventory, and you can download that in Excel. It gives you all the information relative to the firearms that are registered to your SOT as a dealer or manufacturer.
Yeah. And again, we're spending a lot of time on this because we want you to make money. Okay, there's a lot of margin, big margin in suppressors. There's big margin in SBRs and SPSs if you've got them, and the guy down the block isn't selling them. I mean, you can almost name your price. It's a very difficult thing to do online. They want to do it in person. They want to fill out the form. They need your help and guidance, and then you're building long term customer loyalty. So many good reasons to try to get in this business. Again, we're trying to clarify that it's not that difficult. It's Form 3, Form 4, Form 5. That really is it. You do a few of these, as one of the Tonys on here today, I believe, got into this a month ago. He was deathly afraid of it. Great gun guy, never did suppressors, never wanted to deal with NFA. After his third suppressor, I called him to check in with him. He said, "Yeah, those first two, or you know what?" He goes, "But this one was a piece of cake." So that's how easy it is to get up and running with this business. And again, you don't want to be the only gun dealer in town not selling suppressors because your customers might start to go elsewhere. All right. JC, true or false? Here we go. We skipped this last month. You ready to manage this nutty process we go through?
I am. Let me bring this up into a different window just so I can make sure that I can see
All
all
right.
those
If
answers.
you're first time joining us, here's how this works. Real easy. In your chat box there, hopefully you've found it. Go ahead and put a T in there. Try type a T in there. Let's see if you know how to do T for true and F for false. It's that easy. Hey Angie, thanks. Hey Tommy. Hey Blaine, thank you. We got you guys in. All right, so we have a little fun. We're asking questions a little differently this month. we're asking him what, listen closely and read the screen as some, what's it called, some tricks. But we ask a question and there may be a couple of different ways to interpret it. Let's see how you go. But these are the same questions we get from you every month. And that's why we put them on here so you can learn from the knowledge. Everybody else is calling about these, and it might be something you are wondering about. So I read the question, you type in your T or F, it's all true and false, and JC will take it from there. Here we go, everybody. Here we go. First question is going to be, when selling handguns, a Form 3310.4, your multiple handgun report is required whenever selling two or more handguns, including frames, over any 5 open business days. Including frames is the big word there, guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we tricked y'all on that one.
Yeah, see, they're going to be a little tricky. You got to go slow on these. Oh, there we go. Patricia, good answer, Patricia. F, not frames. All right, the answer is,
False. Yeah, we kind of tricked you with that one.
yeah. So frames are not completed handguns. Hence not a pistol or revolver, hence not required to be added or included on or reported on a 3310.4. We get this question every week, guys. You're not the only ones getting it wrong, but Randy, Randy says no fair. But anyway, that's just the first one, Randy. Go slow on the next ones. There we go. If an employee accidentally transfers a firearm on the 31st day, we all know that's bad, the 31st day following a background check, it is best to do nothing and hope the ATF never notices it during a future inspection. True or false?
I think a few people have been listening to us because every one of them's coming back a false.
Yeah. So,
Good
JC,
job.
what's the education on this?
Look, try to get the gun back. Our guidance is always 3 strikes, right? 2 phone calls, document that you attempted to make the phone call. I don't care if you put it in box 32 or on a sticky note attached to the 4473. But 2 phone calls and then a certified letter. You want to try and do something. You need to show a little bit of effort on this, just to make sure that the form is completed as required. So, yeah, that's pretty much our rule of thumb. So you want to try to do something. Yes, communications log, Sal, absolutely.
Yep. Make notes, your efforts, your time, who you spoke with, what you did, so that it doesn't look like you missed it. You caught it, even though it was late, you caught it and did something about it to try to rectify it. There you go.
That's right.
All right. All right. Next, if a customer gets delayed at a gun show, this is for all you gun show guys and girls out there. I get delayed at a gun show. The firearms in delay can be shipped to an FFL closer to their home for final transfer with the new Form 4473 and background check. So a lot of folks travel to a gun show, they get delayed, they want their money back, they say cancel my sale. Can you ship the gun up to their local FFL for the final transfer? True or false?
God, everybody giving us true. Jamie, no NTN cancellation. I wouldn't even bother with it. You don't have to.
Yeah, in this case scenario, just let that 4473 and background check and the end die on the vine, as we
Yeah.
say. Just let it go. That's, let it go to sleep, let it expire. And in big letters, if you did the 4473 and got delayed, but you're going to ship it, in big letters, write gun not transferred up in box 32. Make it clear to anybody looking at that form that the gun was not transferred. That when you look in the bound book for that gun later, if the ATF looks, they're going to see it transferred to an FFL and not to that customer. So that's cool. Yeah, we get a lot of these, so that's good. The answer was true.
Keep in mind, you do need to keep that 4473.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Let's talk about that for a minute. Yeah. It's not in here, but any 4473, you put a background check number in box 27B. Anytime you get a number in there, a control number, whether from the state or from the NICS, that must be kept, whether the gun was transferred or not. You should have a file for incomplete or voided or no sale transfers where you keep those 4473s. All right, if a used gun is a serial number match in the new NCIC stolen gun database, the FFL must hold the firearm and contact law enforcement. True or false?
I'm kind of a man. I got a couple falses. Hmm. Bunch of trues and a few falses there, JB. A lot of trues. If a used gun is a serial number match in the NCIC stolen gun database, the FFL must hold the firearm and contact local law enforcement. Negative. You cannot take possession of that firearm. Yes, contact law enforcement, but do not attempt to take the possession of that firearm. You being in possession of a stolen firearm or whatever the case may be could put you in jeopardy. So it is what it is. Funny thing is chances are, if the individual that's on the other side of the counter is intelligent, he'll probably give up the gun and walk away. In that case, you need to immediately call law enforcement and say, "Hey, they left the gun here," and turn it over to law enforcement. Yes,
Yeah.
call the police. Absolutely.
Yeah. And we had a couple tricks on this question, whether we say serial number match or a positive match. Positive match is where all the criteria match, like model, caliber, manufacturer, serial number, right?
Right.
Just a serial number match means it may not be that gun. It just has a serial number that is in a system that could be, we had one a couple weeks ago where one serial number brought up 5 guns, all different. So, so be aware of that. It happens. JC, you said it last month, I think. If the customer leaves a gun and leaves and runs, and I'm stuck with the gun, what should I do with that?
Call the police. Turn it over to law enforcement immediately.
I think you said last month, yeah. And on the way home, if nobody comes to pick it up on the way home, drop it off at the police station.
Yep.
Yeah, because you cannot acquire that gun. You cannot acquire a stolen gun into a bound book. All right. All right. Next on the 4473, we love this one. Question 21M2. I bet you guys love that one. For the alien immigrant exemption, if a customer answers by checking the no box, you must instruct the customer to cross out no and make it blank by an initial and date to correction, true or false. If they check
Mm,
no,
Everybody's giving us a false on this one, JB. Good job.
how
Yeah,
come
most of the
JB?
time ATF expects it. I mean, this has been a problem ever since way back when this was an L, I think, before, right? So,
Yeah,
um, if you catch it and can fix it, great. If you don't catch it, you don't need to worry about it. You don't need to bother yourself with trying to call the customer back to fix that one box. ATF looks at that and basically says, "Yeah, this is one of those situations where they understand. They understand that people screw this up all the time." So
all right. All right. If you have an attempted burglary or breach at your place of business with no firearms missing, you are required to notify the ATF, true or false.
lots of falses, a couple trues, couple trues. This is a great big falsaroo. So you're not required to contact them. They would prefer that you did. Um, but if it was attempted, and nothing was stolen, and you verified everything is good, they didn't actually get into the building, whatever the case may be, you can certainly notify them contacting the on-call number, but it's not required. You should definitely report it to your local law enforcement, though.
Yeah.
Let them know.
Yeah, the cops are probably going to come due to an alarm call, and you're probably going to decide very quickly whether or not the bad guy's got any access to any guns. And if they did, you're obviously going to do your own inventory, right? And then you're going to call us and let us help you in any way we can. We deal with these at least once a week. We have a burglary. Secondly, once you call the ATF, they're going to scratch their head and make sure they come out to make sure you did your inventory right. And who knows, you're going to get inspected. When was your last inspection? How long has it been? I mean, there's so many different questions. And they're going to tell you, I was at 3 training sessions in the last 30 days with the ATF, and they said, we'd like, we'd like, and if they talked about burglaries as well as I did, and they said, well, we need you to call it. We need you to call us. We need you to call us. What does that mean? Well, and I clarified with them, they're not required, but they do keep statistics on attempted burglaries, but you are not required to call them, and hence maybe have them come out and visit. So that's all up to you. Call us if you need us. All right, an FFL may purchase firearms off-site anywhere in the United States using their FFL and then physically transfer or drive those purchased firearms back to the licensed location to acquire and then sell. True or false? Anywhere
Uh,
in the United States.
everybody's getting, oh, we got one false, but yeah, the answer is true. You as an FFL can purchase firearms from anywhere at any time, uh, as long as it is for your business purposes, as long as it is for your inventory purposes. So, um, you know, as an FFL, you're traveling across country, and we have a number of clients that do for some reason. That's what they like to do on their vacation is drive across country and see what they can find, and they're constantly buying firearms from other FFLs that they go to visit. So,
Well, then it's a business expense.
exactly.
Yeah, great vacation. Turn it into a business expense. But and if you're sending employees, make sure they have the letter, the authorization letter from you,
Yeah.
and a copy of the FFL,
Yep.
obviously. If they're shipping guns or driving guns across state lines, et cetera. We get this call because everyone's worried about driving across state lines with guns. Well, as an FFL, you're allowed to,
Yeah.
as long as you're buying and not selling. That's the rule. All right, a Type 01 FFL must obtain, view, and document government-issued photo ID from any person selling a used firearm to the dealer. So this is Type 1s, not pawnbrokers and sevens, just Type 1. Must you
One
obtain, view?
false, one false, the rest trues. So that is a false. And actually, we had a conversation earlier about this morning. If you are obtaining a firearm, other than pawnbrokers, because pawnbrokers, secondhand dealers, even type ones that are secondhand dealers that accept used firearms, there are certain provisions in state law that require you to obtain government issued photo identification and record such and so on. But there is nothing federally that requires you to obtain someone's government issued identification in order to purchase their firearm or their personal items from them. So,
Uh,
um,
yeah, we certainly recommend that
yeah,
you do.
yeah,
You want to know who you're buying your gun from. You want to give them a bill or a receipt. We have an affidavit available if you're buying used guns from people that they're affirming that they are the true owner and possessor and authorized to sell you that gun, and it's not stolen, etc., under penalty of law. You should have something like that when you're dealing with buying used guns, because that gun, especially now with the used gun stolen database, we're going to have more and more issues of you losing guns if you're using that system and notifying law enforcement of guns being stolen. And there are a lot of guns stolen out there, as far as I understand. So do your best, but you are not required to CID. And this question came up last week with two different FFLs where they were suspicious of it, and they wanted to buy the gun, but the person didn't have their ID, and it got squirrely, smelly a little bit, we call it. And then a Mexican national tried selling a gun to someone over in Texas. That was really weird. He didn't have any US ID, just had Mexican ID. So no, you can buy a gun as long as you know it's not stolen and document who you got it from for the acquisition. When an FFL surrenders the license and the ATF records, the FFL must arrange for and pay for shipping the required records back to the National Tracing Center. So if you surrender your FFL or get a new FFL, you have to arrange for and pay for the shipping back to the tracing center. True or false?
got a mixed bag on this one, JB. Trues and falses. False. ATF should come pick up those records. I mean, you can be nice if you want to, but you can say, no, I'm not going to ship them. You guys need to come pick them up. And request a receipt for the records. We've over the last month or so, we've received a lot of phone calls from FFLs for whatever reason they've gone out of business or changing licenses, etc. And they've shipped or they've had the ATF ship their all their records for them, and for whatever reason they haven't been processed yet. And anything going in right now is going to be sitting on the dock for a while because that checking in those records aren't necessarily going to be a priority. So you can also drop them off at your local field office if you'd like. It depends on you, but they can't demand you ship them.
Yeah, and this question came up a lot here in Colorado, where we lost almost 600 gun dealers due to this new recent all these laws now requirements for gun dealers doing business in Colorado and the taxes. So there was a lot of these calls where the IOI just didn't want to drive 3 hours to a gun dealer in the mountains to get some records and said, "Oh yeah, just send them in by UPS." And and we had one dealer in a different state that was he had 12 pallets of records dating back to 1983. And this became a big conversation. And eventually, obviously, ATF paid for a courier and a tractor trailer to show up and pick up his records because the records belong to the federal government. If they want them, they need to come and get them, basically. So don't get caught up in that. And we also have a very good document we send you if you ever need to surrender a license, surrender records, do all this. We have a great document. You can just get in touch with us. We'll send it to you, tell you how to pack them, how to do this, who to call, how to ship them, blah, blah, blah. What needs to go and what doesn't need to go. So keep in touch with us on that one. All right, an FFL may sell or ship an AR long gun without a standard magazine, such as 30 rounds, to a customer from a state that has a magazine limit or restriction. And this would be a case like on Gun Broker if you're selling an AR and somebody in a state with magazine restrictions wants to buy your gun. Can you ship it without the magazine? Is that legal?
We got a few falses, but mostly trues. That one's true. Believe it or not, an FFL may be able to, obtain or acquire those high capacity magazines, as they call them. We have a lot of FFLs that an FFL ships in a firearm with a high cap mag that's not allowed to be transferred to the customer, so they just have a box that they drop them in, and then they turn around and sell them online on Gunbroker to FFL or to FFLs or individuals out of state where those are legal. So yeah, happens quite a bit.
All right. An FFL can sell a handgun or a long gun to an out-of-state resident visiting this store and ship it to an FFL in their home state for the actual transfer. This would be in vacation areas, beach areas, tourists, a lot of Northeasterners visiting the Carolinas, that type of thing. With a bunch of these in Florida when the snowbirds come down. Can they buy it? Can they buy the handgun, but because they're not a resident, can they have it shipped back home? The answer is
I'm not getting any answers.
yeah. I got a lot of them.
Oh, do you? Oh, that's weird. Oh, they're there. Never mind. Yeah, true. Absolutely true.
So, for almost everybody, this is true. You just have to be careful in certain states. I see Randy from California says not here.
Yeah,
You
not
gotta make
California.
sure.
Obviously, there are states where it's more restrictive.
Here's the big caveat here. Make sure it's state compliant to
Yeah.
wherever you're shipping it to.
Yep.
Make sure it's not going to bounce back at you for some obscure reason, restricted, not on a roster, magazine capacity, like a Glock 19, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We had to, you know. And hey, you guys just heard about California. They just outlawed Glocks this on Friday. So um, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you're shipping Glocks to California. That's a no-go starting next year, I believe. Or I think it's July of next year.
Yeah, we'll
Thank you,
see where that goes.
Thank you, Governor Newsom. Yeah, there'll be lawsuits.
We'll see where that goes.
Yes. All right. If a customer has a physical disability that prevents them from completing a Form 4473, a relative may assist with the process as long as the true customer or transferee can sign box 22 on the Form 4473.
Wow, a lot of falses. A couple trues, a few trues, more trues. All right, well, guess what? That is false.
What?
They need to have somebody is coming unmuted here. What's going on?
Larry.
Sorry.
I don't even know
Yeah.
if my answers are going through.
I don't know why he's unmuting himself somehow. So, a relative may assist with the process as long as the true customer transferee can sign box 22, but keep in mind that you also have to have a second witness.
Yeah. So there's a total of three people, not two. So there's a little trick question. A lot of you said it's true with two witnesses, but yeah, just because they have their wife or daughter or husband with them doesn't mean it's all good. Helping them do the form, they need three total non-employees of the FFL. No employees can help. There you go.
Two total individuals plus the individual being transferred the firearm. But they do have to provide a signature. They have to be able to provide a signature. They have to be the person to sign.
Yeah. All right. During an ATF inspection, the IOI can demand that you provide a digital download of your gun log bound book if you use digital software. True or false?
A few trues, bunch of falses. Yeah, that's true. False, absolutely. They can certainly demand it, but you are not required to give it to them electronically. Our recommendation is to make sure that you give them the true bound book in the correct format, including all the required headings. Don't give them Excel spreadsheets. Don't give them a printout of your Excel spreadsheet, because a lot of times that does not meet the requirements.
And we recommend giving it to them in PDF format. Okay. If you give it to them at all. Okay. The whole thing is they can't demand it. You can give them a paper printout as well.
Yep.
And this is going to be your decision. A lot of you call us when this happens. Always call us when the ATF shows up. We'll walk you through everything with the inspections. You know that. But a lot of times, the first question when I ask you is, when was your last inspection? If you told us 8 years ago, the next question we're going to ask is, well, how you feel about an inspection? Inventory good or your paperwork good? And there might be some conversation there where we help you decide whether to give them a printout or allow them digital access to your inventory, because the digital inventory is going to go much faster and the paper inventory is going to take much longer. So you may want them in the store longer counting. You may want to get them out quick. You may want to have time to get a final glance at your 4473s. You may have to organize things better before they jump into your paperwork. I mean, there's a lot of conversation here, but they cannot demand that you give them a digital download. We get this question every week. And again, you have challenges with them. You get us on the phone. We talk to them. They agree with us. We get back on the phone with you. Everybody's happy. And we move on from there. All right. All right. If you realize a customer entered the wrong certification date on form 4473 up in box 23, that's at the top of page 2, name and date. If you realize that after the transfer was completed and you cannot contact the customer to come back to the store to make a correction, is it okay for the employee to make a photocopy and correct the date with the initials and date of the correction? Just to, that box in 32, a lot of people still using paper. We find the date of birth in that box.
Yep.
So is it okay for if you can't get the customer, how do you fix that? Is it okay for the employee to fix it?
I think everybody got this one. Everybody has said false. Absolutely not. As it states in the form's instructions, you make corrections to your sections. The customer has to make corrections to their sections. You cannot make corrections on behalf of the customer.
JC, what do I do with this situation? If the customer won't come back, can't, the phone's telling
Look,
the
it
cell
goes
phone.
right back to what we were talking about earlier on, and true or false. You make every effort to contact the customer. You record the fact that you have attempted to contact the customer. 2 phone calls, certified letter. You've made your effort. And unfortunately, if it ends up in a situation where the customer isn't going to come in, then so be it. You make sure you've attached your notes to the form showing that you made an effort, and the ATF would appreciate that. Will it be a violation? More than likely, yes. Is it the end of the world? More than likely, no. So you make your best effort and you move on with your life.
Yeah, make sure you put notes in box 32 there.
Yep.
Notes. I'm waiting for Sal to pop up and say, use your communication log, but he hasn't.
Right.
All right. Thanks, Sal. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Is it permissible to use a picture? Thanks, Sal. Is it permissible to use a picture of a customer's ID that is stored on their phone as their photo and ID picture, photo ID for box 26A? Can they
Yeah.
use a picture stored on the phone of their driver's license?
Huh. Few people did answer yes or true. So the answer is actually false. Not a picture in their, just stored in their phone because you have no idea. But if it is in a state app, like in the state of Colorado, we have a My Colorado app. That is permissible as long as the state recognizes that as a valid ID.
Yeah, so we say, it's got to be a state sanctioned or operated platform or website or app that stores that information. It can't be just a picture on the phone.
Yeah.
Okay, get that question at least once a week. Cool. Hey, before I do that, here's the final question. Okay, should we continue doing true and false in our monthly webinars? Yes or no? Do you guys like this? Okay, we say. Okay. And
It's
we
all yeses.
feel this is the most time-sensitive knowledge you need because this is what you guys are calling us about every month. We take these create these questions out of the calls we get and the texts we get from you. So we know everyone's having the same type of issue. So very good. All right. I think we're going to do that. Edgar, thank you. Absolutely. We will do this. All right, guys. JC and I hit, I don't know, two, three, maybe, probably two or three gun dealers every week someplace. Pawnbrokers, gun dealers, big box, small box, gun show operators. And the one thing we find missing, honestly, the big box is good at this. We've trained big box for decades here. Um, but we miss asking for ID before showing a firearm. And JC, I'm going to run through these, right? Why do we ask for ID before we show a firearm? Number one, establish state of residency. Okay, where do you live? If you're an out-of-state resident, I may not show you handguns. If you're an out-of-state resident, I might have to start thinking about, oh my God, where you from? I got to pull out the restricted states guide, figure out all the rules for you. Maybe I don't want to sell you a gun today. Maybe there's age limits on handguns from where or long guns from where you go. Maybe you got to be 21 where they live. Maybe they're from a different state. So establish the state of residency. Figure that all out. Real front, real up front, real up front. First things first. Next, do you still live at this address? How many of you encounter this problem when you get through the background check, or you're ready to do the background check, and you look at the form, you look at the ID, and you wasted 20 minutes, and now they have to go get a car registration or something. Okay, and is it unexpired? Is the ID unexpired? Is it valid? How about that old middle name versus middle initial problem we are encountering everywhere? And yes, the ATF is looking for this, especially if you're ignorant enough to attach copies of your IDs to your 4473s. We didn't talk about it today, but we definitely don't want to attach anything to the 4473 that does not need to be attached. Most importantly, IDs, copies of IDs. And again, at 3 training seminars I was with at the ATF in the last 30 days, they said they want to see and would like to see copies of IDs attached to the 4473. It makes our job easier, they said. It makes the inspection process flow more quickly, they said. And it's just the complete opposite of the truth. Okay. They want to see everything they can to compare it against your form and see if there's any violations or is there omissions or misspelt names or addresses don't coincide, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So check that out as soon as you see their ID, challenge it. Do they really have a middle initial or do they really have a middle name? And what's printed on the driver's license? Are they 21 and over for a handgun? Again, just mentioned this. Are they the right age? If they're 20, why are you going to show them a handgun? In many states, you're not allowed to. In many of the blue states. So are you 21 for a handgun and in state? And then prevent runaways or grab and runs. We get one a month, at least one a month. One gun dealer calls us and says this just happened. Somebody was showing a gun. I turned my back and they just ran out to a waiting vehicle outside my building or around the corner. What do I do? Well, that's a real bad issue. If you were holding their ID, and the trick is When you ask for the ID, you hold it when you give them a gun. When they give you the gun back, return the ID. Go to Bass Pro or Academy or Sportsman's Warehouse. Typically, that scenario is in place to prevent grab and runs. All right. Give me a gun back. I give you ID back. You want to see another gun? Let's do the same thing. Let me put an ID over here. I'll give you this other gun. Works out great, and it prevents grab and runs. And final thing to remember is a felon will typically never hand you their ID because if they're caught ever attempting to purchase a firearm, it's automatic incarceration, violation of any parole, and there they go. They don't want you to know their ID if in fact they're a felon looking at an ID, at a firearm, and you can also be preventing straw purchases, future unexpected straw purchases. All right. JC, you still handling warnings and revocations?
More warnings lately than revocations, especially warning conferences. Obviously, the landscape has changed quite dramatically from zero tolerance. Just understand that the same revocation policy existed pre zero tolerance, the same one exists today. Anything that's blatant, anything that you just ignored the law completely. So just make sure that you're aware that the same rules apply. Make sure you're paying attention. Repeat violations, anything that significantly or could potentially significantly impact human or public safety, rather. Those are the things that are going to get you in trouble. We are seeing a large number of warning letters and warning conferences going out, just reminding FFLs that, hey, listen, you need to be paying attention. Okay, so those transfers to a prohibited person, they self-identify as prohibited. You run them anyway, and they get denied, and you still transfer the firearm. That's definitely going to get you a revocation. You've gone through an inspection, you have a recall inspection, and the same issues are still popping up. You didn't take care of anything. That's constituted as willful. You're intentionally disregarding the rules. So just keep that in mind. We don't want to see you get revoked. You spend your time and energy on these calls with us and asking us questions. Let us help you stay in compliance so you can stay in business, and always be proactive. Don't be reactive. Catching something after a firearm is transferred is, the worst case scenario. You want to make sure that you're reviewing everything properly, making sure everything's completed properly before that firearm walks out the door.
Yeah. And remember, these guys, zero tolerance is dead, but all these IOIs just came off 3.5 years of zero tolerance focus, microscopic inspection practices, right? For that purpose of zero tolerance. And just because the punishment is gone, they didn't get any more laxed in their inspection process. They're just as good. And that's why I think we're seeing a lot of warning letters and a lot of folks getting surprised by the amount of violations they're getting on inspections and the type of issues they're highlighting. Will it be misspelled or abbreviated places, cities on place of birth, and that type of thing. So stay proactive. All right. Hey, this is just our list of we used to call them the 11 deadly sins. So let's just call them the ATF critical violations. You can download this off our website, Forms and Tools. Just get it there, print it, hang it in the back room. Make sure it's used during training meetings, and your compliance person knows which ones are the real serious ones and which ones you want to avoid. All right. We are on the road. Where we go in October and November. If we're coming to a state where you reside and you want to catch us for an end of year retail visit, mock audit inspection, it's a great time to give us a call. If you're not an NSSF member, we can certainly get you signed up. It's a 10-minute process on the phone, and we can stop in and make arrangements. Again, I was supposed to be in the office this week working on some projects, but one of you called and said, "Oh my God, the ATF's coming next week." And yes, I'm flying down tonight. I'll be flying back tomorrow night, but we're going to get in there. We're going to clean it up. We're going to make it great and get that person ready for their ATF inspection. So if we're coming to a place near you, let us know. We'll fit you in. Just highlights that. SHOT Show's around the corner. JC, are you going?
I'll be there. I'll be there all week.
And
Yeah.
I'll be there. And I think it was Greg, somebody earlier in the chat said they'll be there or was asking about when to go. Listen, every day is good. Most folks don't show up the first day. So I'm
Yeah.
not looking at my calendar, but I don't know which day is the 20th. But that month, the Tuesday is the first day typically.
Yeah.
And what we have found is most on the first day, most people go to range day. A lot of people are at a range day.
Hmm.
And then they like to celebrate and have fun with the vendors and all that. So the first open day of the exhibit floor is kind of lean, but Wednesday definitely picks up. The Wednesday and Thursday are very busy days. JC and I will be there. We're going to be in the NSSF Employee Lounge for I think a full day. So we'd love if you're going, let us know between now and then. Drop us a line, drop us a text. We'd love to see you. If we've never met you, let's shake a hand, take a picture, have some conversation, say hi. We'd love to see our fans and you guys there at SHOT Show. So, got any questions? Let us know. To register, it's real easy. Just go out to shotshow.org. If you're not a member, we can help you get there, and it's super cheap. The biggest expense for you is getting there. There's discounts or on member access. It's super cheap and it's only open to the FFL industry. It's not open to the public, so it's an awesome place. 2,700 vendors and booths, and it's crazy. If you're in the business, great place to go. All right, reminder, FFLC Academy is up and running. And how many? We got over 9,000 courses completed. That's all you guys, your employees, just taking those courses day in and day out. We got the entire state of Colorado dialing in and doing the Colorado firearm safety certification for licensing before they work in a gun store, plus all the other courses we have available. We call it basic training. It's fabulous for your employees, and best of all, it's all free, and best part, it's all free. There you go. Okay. Hey, we had a great month for inspections, even though ATF's out and about. I think there's 8 or 9 here with ATF perfect inspections. We had Dave and Dane, and we gave honorable mention to you guys up there in Arkansas, Dean, Leanne, and David. You know what I'm talking about. You guys, that was a horrible experience for you, and you came out very good standing with that. So thank you for all the dedication, time, and overnight efforts you put in there. Steve and Kevin, great job, great meeting you guys. Also, I was with Steve and Kevin actually, they should be listed here twice. They had a great FFLC audit, and without me making any phone calls, the ATF showed up literally 3 days later. So they were in perfect shape for their ATF inspection. Congrats, guys. Plus, you were doing great to begin with. They had not been inspected in I think 3 or 4 years over in Texas. Terry in Illinois. Oh, that's a challenge. Illinois, Jerry, Lewis, and then Nancy, Tim, and Sharon, Freddie, and Nick and Angelique last week. Great job, guys. Keep up all the great work. And you are definitely ready for your ATF inspections and state inspections. Back just here for a minute. I should have put on here. I want to also congratulate, and we want to thank everyone who did us the favor of going out to Google and submitted a review. We push that once a year just to keep that system going with Google. You know how that works. We need a 5 stars. And NSSF, thank you so much for dropping notes over to the NSSF. Whether it be Joe or John or whoever you're out to, is just great for them to hear from their constituents, their members, that what we do for you is good for you and valuable to you. Thank you very much for doing that. Hey, friendly reminder, call us anytime for any of these issues, inspection traces, select traces, warning letters, any special requests. And like I said earlier, insurance, who do you use for this? We're building a range. Do you know a guy? Yes, we know everybody. We just don't buy or sell guns. There's our number. And again, the NSSF premium program, cheapest game in town, cheapest program around, best insurance or legal defense funding protection you can buy. And guys, it's still $2 a day. If you're already a premium member, you can have us out up to once a year for $9.99, and NSSF picks up the rest of the bill. It's a great program. Got high turnover. Just don't feel good about things. Crazy stuff happens. Give us a call. We'll fit you in, and it's a great program. And here we are, a little bit later than expected, but we are into rapid fire FAQ, JC.
Yes, sir.
We have questions ready. Did you do anything, or should I just start from the beginning?
Just start. I put whatchamacallit, true or false placeholders, so you can tell where the true or false began at least.
All right.
And there were a couple of direct questions that came to me
Okay, let me just get
directly, I
back.
believe,
I
through
got new
private
message
message.
here.
So I'll get to those at some point.
Okay. Actually, here's what, okay, great. Let me get back to the beginning. We promised you guys word stuff in the beginning. Oh, yeah, I see what you did. It's slowing me down a little bit, but I'm getting now. Wow, you guys had a lot of true and false questions here. Okay. All right, here, I think I'm still hunting back up. All right, welcome.
It's weird how it does it now.
Yeah, try to, good afternoon. Well, I'm trying to get back to their first question. Virginia Beach. All right, it was weird. Okay, we have a location where, yes, I can. Okay, 2020. I guess, Greg, you answered this. You asked this question first. Back to SHOT Show, 120 to 123. Best days to attend. I guess I would say, not regarding the crowds, but you could also look at since you're an NSSF member, look at the educational seminars, see what fits for you. They're spread out throughout the week, starting on Tuesday. There's a lot of seminars, a lot of different things you might want to learn about your business, from marketing to compliance to building a range. I mean, they got it all so it's all great stuff. Um, Legal, lawyers, etc. So see how that fits into your travel schedule. Um, so it's hard for us to say which days are better. The crowds are heavier on Wednesday, definitely on Wednesday. Okay. That's, I think, the big day for the week. So if there's a day to avoid, it's probably
Wednesday and
Wednesday.
Thursday are
And you
usually.
don't miss out on anything. I mean, they have the same vendors, the same vendors there Monday through Friday. So, all right.
You're looking at 60,000 people. And trust me, you want to give yourself enough time. You're not going to see it all. You're just not.
Yeah,
So plan accordingly, because it is Caesars and the Venetian.
yeah,
So it's big. It's
yeah,
very
and it's fun and it's great food. All right.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Tony says destructive devices still require $200 under the NFA
Yes.
program.
Machine guns and destructive devices
Yeah.
are still at $200.
Yep.
Destructive. I don't ever look at destructive devices as quote the typical NFA firearm. So
John, we want to congratulate you. You in Williamsburg, Virginia, had a clean ATF inspection 2 weeks ago. Thanks to JC visiting. Very cool, very cool. Congratulations.
good
All right.
stuff.
Joey says, what hardware do we need to become electronic on suppressors?
So to go electronic, you're going to need a kiosk like Silencer Shop or essentially you want to be able to take pictures and you have to take fingerprints in an electronic format that is accepted by the FBI. Most of the solutions out there use something called Live Scan. That's the software application. They'll brand it or market it under their own stuff. So Cerberus is one of the companies we recommend. There's a handful of companies out there. There's certainly less companies now than there were when the e-form platform stood back up again. So, but LiveScan's the software you're looking for in the specific format that the FBI accepts. So, a lot of people go with the kiosk just because it essentially is kind of an all-in. You're looking at Silencer Shop to be your distributor as well. They're certainly the biggest distributor.
Yeah, Joe, you could drop us a line. We have a list of providers that we can
Yeah.
send you. You can do you do calling and shopping and whatever, but we can tell you who we recommend based on what we see out there.
Yep.
Hey, Roland says on an approved Form 4, the customer has not picked up the suppressor in over 30 days. What, if anything, is required to transfer once a customer comes in for the pickup?
What, if anything, is required? You have to do a 4473 and such. There's no time limit. The NFA leaves it pretty ambiguous in that it just simply states a reasonable amount of time, but there is no definition for a reasonable amount of time. What we advise you is, I mean, there's certain situations, obviously, that It's just not going to happen. The individual's deployed, they're traveling a nurse, they're an over-the-road trucker. Any of those situations are usually fairly acceptable for a delay in transferring it. But you should tell the person, look, at some point you need to just say, look, I'm going to void this Form 4 and you can come in and get your money and less a restocking fee if you don't come in and get it. We tell you best practice is 30 days, give them 30 days. Then they don't come in and pick it up in 30 days. Give them a call, say, look, you got a week to come in. They don't come in at the end of the week. Give them a call again and say, look, I've given you a week. You still haven't come in. You got until the end of this week. And then send them a certified letter. Very similar situation. Send them a certified letter. If you do not respond within 7 days of this letter, we're going to be voiding the Form 4 and putting it back in our inventory, and we'll issue you a refund less a restocking fee.
Yep. And with this business, this is the pay up front. Pay, don't take a deposit.
Yeah.
We learned a long time ago, you don't want to do that. You want these paid in full when they're purchased at the time the
Yep.
Form 4 is filled out and
Yeah.
submitted. And
Yep.
you want to have some type of other agreement posted that says restocking fees, no refunds if you don't pick it up within 30 days, et cetera, et cetera. So we don't have that for you, but think about all the scenarios you want to avoid and make that a posted agreement that these customers have to abide by. And JC said the magic words. Tell them if you don't pick it up within 30 days, you're gonna cancel it, and they start over, and no refunds.
That's right.
Yeah. So it's all good.
Yep.
Um,
And it happens,
yeah. Okay.
believe it or not.
Okay. Question? Do you have police purchase authorization letter and perjury letter? That
There's
was from
not a
Sal.
yeah, there's not a police person. Well, I guess there's a draft LE Clio letter out there that'll, that the police department, police chief, or designee um, can utilize. We do have a sample letter. It's real straightforward. It mirrors what the ATF provides. The perjury statement, we also have that. So just hit us up at info@fflconsultants.com and we can send you those two sample letters.
Yeah, we got good emails on that to send you, Sal. Then Sal, you said something about any quick way to check NIC history of AR checks or R checks. I'm not exactly sure what the question is, but
Your Nix history, search history query is under the processes, the gear icon on Nix website. You can go in there and you can actually look at your number one last 88 days of background checks. Any that have been preceded, the information you use to submit that transaction will only be there for 24 hours from the point you get that proceed. All of your denieds will be there, and you can download that report in either PDF or Excel format.
GC no longer. Remember last month?
What?
NIC's denials are gone after 89 days, 87 days.
What?
Yeah, that was on one of our, yeah, I'm sorry, that was the email we sent out. I sent out. Most of you all should have gotten a letter from NICS that they're no longer providing denials after 87 days.
Really?
Yeah, so
I didn't even
we
see
sent
that.
out a letter. I sent out a letter to all of you probably within the last 30 days. It said it's critical they understand how to download your NICS denials
You
now.
better get those then.
Yeah, because they already started deleting these. So I think it was September 16th or so.
Huh.
And if you guys go in and look, we used to love knowing that all the denials are in there, but you no longer have viewing access to them after 87 days. So if you didn't download all those, you can still go back and try so you have them for your next ATF inspection because they may walk in with them. They may be able to get them and go after your denials that you may or may not have completed accurately or filed accurately prior to their inspection. Okay, we don't have all that detail, but the letter from NICS was that it went to every email user registered with NICS, eNICS. So if you need more information on that and you need me to resend you an email on that, let me know. I put instructions in there how to download and save that file. if you can grab it quickly. All right. My local IS, okay, if I mean false, what would be with that? Okay, Andrew says you're calling it IOI. When you're surrendering records, you always start with your local field office. You see what they say and see what the IO. If the IOI gives you the wrong information, you could talk to an area supervisor there in the office. If they're still talking stupid to you, give us a call. We'll put you in touch with the tracing center and the right people that can help you coordinate your shipping of old records back to the tracing center. Okay. Only have to two. You need two witnesses. Two witnesses. All right. You guys had fun with true and false today. We're going to keep doing this. Looking for the next question real quick. Handle webinar. Yes, Colorado app for pictures is okay. I believe Arizona does the same thing. You can go to the Department of, a lot of states now allow the license to be viewed on their DMV website. They can show you a picture of the license right off the DMV website for your state if that's available where you are. That is permissible for ID on the 4473. Gun shows there. So Paul says he had gun shows last weekend. He had six different had different addresses on their ID. Paul, I'm assuming you looked at the IDs prior to going through all the trouble and starting paperwork. That's a great best practice, as we discussed. Fabulous best practice. Edgar says, if I learned one thing today, is check that ID. Let me tell you guys, we start when JC and I ran big box sporting goods stores, is where we learned it. Started with all this crazy stuff years and years ago. We started with the ID piece for all the reasons we mentioned today. All the big box stores, we were all collaborating together on best practices, and we've been doing this for 25 years. Why not start doing it tomorrow? You may not have to do it on a customer that comes in every week and a customer and you can be selective. You don't have to ask ID for every customer, but if you don't know the customer, feel free to do so. All right, Double K says, how do you appeal an NFA denial? Good question.
Well, this is a little bit of a difficult one. If it's a hard denial for a specific reason, the ATF will send you a letter letting you know how to tell the customer to appeal. Now, there's a number of different reasons that a transfer gets denied. So you always have to look at that last page to see what the reasoning is. Sometimes those denials hit a certain amount of days and the next section just gives up on it because they're not getting a response from whatever authority they're getting a ping from to say, hey, this person, there's a record here that needs to be reviewed. So there will be a letter. There is a process for it. It's very similar appeal. The other thing that you can do is advise your customer to apply for a UPIN. If they get denied for their UPIN, they will get notification of such and they'll be able to know exactly what laws were violated and what jurisdictions those laws were violated in so that individual can get that matter cleared up. So,
yeah. And if you're getting into this NFA business, you will realize the NFA branch is not perfect. There's a select number of individuals there that are assigned, I guess, JC, to different sectors or states.
mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
And so JC is very familiar with who manages which part of the country, right? There's a list, and we can usually help with getting to the right person if you run into an NFA approval process. Yeah, but they're government employees, and double case, which is correct. NFA branch says talk to Nix, but Nix says I need an NTN to look it up, and NFA doesn't give NTN. So there are some hurdles, but we can help you work through all that. Mike said, Code 4 says, if we registered a pistol with a brace as an SBR with NFA, remember the old pistol brace thing? Can we now safely deregister that firearm and leave the brace on it?
You would have gotten a conditional approval. I would have to ask what's going on with that. I would have assumed that they would have removed all of those. Shoot me an email on that and let me check with the NFA division just to see what the go forward recommendation or recommended processes for that, whether or not they do need to be deregistered or not.
Yeah.
Because you only got received a conditional approval. You wouldn't have received a final approval on that.
Yeah. Good question, though. Thanks for bringing that up, Mike.
Yeah.
Canal says you
Because
run a background check.
I haven't heard an arm brace question in a long time.
Yeah, 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 exactly. But yeah, we had that whole group that registered them on the Form 1, and what happened? Yeah. All
Yeah.
right, Gunnell says you run a background and then it changes to open, but is never changed after that. The first change to open. All
Yep.
right, so a delayed will move to an open,
Hmm.
and an open means FBI team researchers cannot figure out yes or no for the person. They can't decide proceed or denial, so they leave it as open, stays open forever. They research it for up to 87 days, and if they can't figure it out, it just stays like that.
Yep.
There's no yes or no, but you're at liberty to transfer that gun in most states after 3 Brady days, after the Brady date. Most of you know that's basically 5 days. It's the day of the day of the background check. You wait 3 days, and then on a basically 1, 2, 3, 4 on the fifth day you can transfer. Always, always, always print the NTN status detail report on any delayed open transfers. You need proof that when at the time that you transferred that gun, it was still an open. It whether it be a week after or 2 weeks after the background check is completed, because that can change to a denial. You want to have proof that you transferred it as a delay, not way before the denial, because when the ATF comes in, they're going to see it as a denial, and you want to have proof someplace that you were legal on the date you transferred it. So, good question. Edgar, thank you. Hey, thanks for Edgar. Thanks for your support and your review. Um, and does an SOT FFL need fingerprints for NFA?
Does an FFL SO? Do
Does
you
an
need to do
SOT
fingerprints to obtain your SOT? If that's what you're asking, no.
maybe
In, or-
maybe to purchase? I'm not sure what the question is.
yeah, in order to do transfers, you have to get fingerprints of customers. But in order for you to secure your SOT to deal in NFA firearms, no, you do not have to do your fingerprints.
Yeah, the SOT comes right after you get your Type 1 or Type 7 or Type 2. You can get an SOT.
Hmm.
It's for $500,
Yeah,
right?
you apply online through pay.gov, and it's very simple process.
Yeah, real easy. Watch our
Takes
email
about
from
30
August,
days.
our webinar from August to show you how to do that. But if you want, I mean, and you can maintain holding the inventory, all those NFA items. But if you transfer it to you personally, yeah, you're going to have to go through the Form 4 process. Um, us as a new for okay. Oh, last question. Great, Sal. Thanks for bringing this up, but we didn't talk about it today. Last issue is the new 4473. JC, what's the update?
Sure. Good luck. We've been anticipating it in the Federal Register for a while now. Obviously, the government shutdown slowed that down. I would tell you that I am not expecting anything until probably January at the earliest. Things to keep in mind: it has to be posted on the Federal Register for 60 days. 60 days to gain comments. Once the 60 days is up, ATF will bring back those comments, review everything, and if there's any changes or any recommendations that are adopted, they'll make those, and then it will be pushed out. For the first 120 days per our conversations with ATF headquarters, the first 120 days, it will be an optional adoption period. That gives time for all the different providers out there to do what they need to do to build their systems around the new 4473. And then at the end of that 120-day period, just like last time, it'll become a required document. So it also, the 120 days gives the ATF distribution center time to print the puppies and get them out. From what I understand, it's going to be the old format. It's no longer going to be the perforated edge or bound on the left-hand side. Apparently, they're going to go back to the connected at the bottom of each page, and I forget what it has a name, but I can't remember what it is.
Perforated.
Yeah, they're all perforated,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to be the old way where you
Yeah.
can accordion. That's what they call it,
Oh,
accordion.
accordion. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's weird. Wow,
Yep.
just when
I
you
don't.
thought things were getting better.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see if that actually happens, but
Yeah.
that's
So,
what
hey
I'm.
guys, that's it. Thank you for joining us. November 17th. Put that on your
Hang on a
calendar.
second,
November
JB. Yeah.
17th, our next event. We will not have one in December. We'll see you guys in December. Sorry, November. Then we'll see you in January, right before SHOT Show.
Yeah.
Again, anything in between, give us a call, give us a text, give us an email. We're
Hey,
here for
JB.
you. Good luck with everything going on in your business, and we'll see you guys in
Yeah, JB,
November.
hang tight. I got some direct questions here.
Okay.
Colorado has a purchase permit required from the LE. That is not going to be required from LE. It's going to be a training course through a certified instructor, and that does not start until next year. Hold on a second. Question for proper filing of NFA records. We have two locations with one SOT. You do not have two locations with one SOT. You would have to have an SOT per location. You can still have an EIN that's shared between the two. We do all of our incoming items on consignment for auction. When we transfer the item from the client into our name, we transfer it to, okay, if we move inventory between locations, does the original approved form for it need to transfer back and forth, or can it be a copy since the original transfer was to that specific FFL in that form? Now, I would tell you to schedule some time with me so I have a little better understanding of your situation. Because even though you have two locations that may share the same EIN, both locations must have an SOT. So I'd say reach out to me on that. Uh, can an FFL deliver guns to the buyer, another FFL in the same state? Sure, if you're going FFL to FFL, that's fine. Again, probably need a little bit more information to give you a good answer on that. Uh, this question came in. Had an associate of mine ask this and wasn't sure how to answer. FFL owner passes away and has inventory. How can those items be transferred, and can they be transferred to another FFL to close out the bound book of the losing FFL? Yes, in the event of the demise of the RP for an FFL, there are steps that need to be taken, and you have a limited window of time to get that done and notify the ATF. So reach out to me on that, and I'm more than happy to provide you some further guidance. And then last but not least, is it possible to get copies of previous IOI inspections? We went about 8-9 years between inspections, and I can't find the previous report. Yes, you can request those. Give me a call on that before you do so, because I can tell you right now, the ATF, they don't really like that too much. So, but I have my channels behind the scenes that I can make requests like that for quote unquote our purposes. So again, reach out to me on that, and I'll be happy to help you out with that. I mean, and the reason for that is really the ATF looks at that as kind of a negative that you didn't take it serious enough to keep those reports. So I can make those requests through our back channels a little easier and just give them an explanation of what I'm trying to do. All right. That's all I got, JB.
All right, guys. We applaud you. Thank you very much, everyone. And got anything special, you can get us direct. I got a couple emails coming out to some of you and some other questions you asked. And we'll see you guys November 17th, hopefully. Stay tuned. And I'll get the slides and the PowerPoint and a recording and everything out to you guys by the end of the week. Thanks a lot. See ya.